guess we'll just start with your reaction to the league suspending Dillon Brooks for Game 3.
Doesn't matter. I mean, Gary's out. Gary's out for the next, foreseeable future for weeks. That's the only thing that matters to us.
When you guys are planning ahead now with Gary out defending Jaw, it is going to be a team effort, but who are you looking at to kind of take on that primary assignment? And would Jonathan Kuminga be a guy that you would feel comfortable playing more minutes throughout the rest of the series?
Yeah, we're going to have guys step up in Gary's absence. J.K. could be one of them. Damian Lee, another. We can look at different combinations, play Looney more, off the bench. But guarding Jaw is a team effort. I mean, he's a great player. So it's not going to be one guy trying to shut him down. It's a team effort, and obviously, without Gary, we've got a tougher job on our hands now, and we just have to go out and do it.
Staying on the topic of Brooks' suspension, do you think the league needs to do more to maybe crack down on, players that have hard fouls like this that injures another player? This is not the first time it's happened this season.
Yeah, it's ultimately it's the league's decision, and so it's out of my hands. So I'm not going to speculate on that. They've got to decide what they're going to do, and if that's their decision, then we go with that.
Steve, how hard was it for you as a coach to watch Ja basically dominate the last 4 minutes of the game?
Well, I mean, he took over the game. He was great. We didn't feel like we executed very well at either end over the last few minutes. So you watch the tape, you watch it again, you figure out what you can do better, what you might change, and implement that, and go try to win Game 3.
Steve, after watching the tape, do you like the looks you're getting, especially inside the arc over these first 2 games?
Especially inside the arc?
Yeah, the non-threes.
We're getting some good ones, and then I thought we, in both the first 2 games, I thought we took a lot of challenged shots where we could have moved the ball or made a different decision other than the shot. So, it's not perfect, but this is what the playoffs are all about. You adapt to your opponent and what your opponent is doing to you, what their personnel looks like. So this is all normal stuff for us 2 games into a series to have to see what we need to do to get better shots. We've had lots of good ones, but we can get more.
We all went crazy with that small lineup in the first 2 games of the playoffs. Since then, hadn't been real great, and minus 11, I believe, in the last game. Are these things that you kind of foresaw might happen? Is it a little surprising that this lineup's been getting beat the last few games?
No. You guys were the ones who were trying to figure out the nickname for a group that had played 11 minutes together. So we just put that group together for the first time in the Denver series, and obviously playing it a little bit more now, and you get a feel for what you can expect, what you need to be careful with. So it's all part of it. It's we have to make sure, especially without Gary now, that all of our lineups are balanced and give us the best two-way capability to give us the best chance to win.
Jordan, in particular, they were kind of, they were bringing a lot of high screens to get Jordan on Jaw, especially late. What did you see from him individually on defense in that matchup, and where can he be better?
Yeah, I mean, there was lots of stuff on film where we can be better as a team. Not necessarily Jordan, but the whole group. And we messed up a couple of coverages that we'll clean up. And, this is part of the playoffs. The league has become a pick-on league, where you run a lot of ball screens and you bring a certain guy in. And so it's common in every series, and you just have to adapt and adjust.
Invariably, he will be, on Moran at times. What do you think? Where have you seen him grow as an individual defender? I mean, he is 6'5", getting stronger. In those matchups, like where have you seen him grow to a point where you might need to trust him to try to stay in front of some guards?
Yeah, I mean, I think he's still a very young player. He's still learning. I think there's been some growth in his ability to defend without fouling, but I thought he maybe took a step backwards on that the other night. He ended up with his 5th foul with 10 minutes left on a reach. So we're going to continue to harp on that with him. He's got to trust the defense behind him. If he gets beat, show your hands. If you're at the rim, go vertical. Don't swipe down, those types of things. He had some really good games and good moments against Denver in the first round doing that. He slipped back a little bit last game, but defending without fouling is a big step for him.
You going to follow up?
I just want Jaws made, I think, 9 threes in the first 2 games. Obviously, your strategy has been to somewhat allow those. Does that change this? I mean, the fact that he's hit 9, can that change the strategy?
Yeah, I mean, we're not trying to allow him, to shoot threes. So we'd like to challenge some of those shots better than we have. But there's give and take in every possession, and I think every series, whether it's Denver or Memphis or in past years, whoever we played, you're trying to take away the easy stuff. It's what you do in the regular season, but you don't have that much time to prepare. So in the playoffs, you really lock in on what's the easy stuff. And with Denver, it was back cuts and Jokic picking you apart with those assists and transition stuff. And with Memphis, it's transition and us turning it over and then playing off of our turnovers in transition. It's Ja getting a runway to the rim where he just jumps over everybody and lays it in. Same thing that they're trying to do with us, but with different personnel, different schemes. Like, we're all trying to take away the easy buckets.
This is actually my question about letting their low percentage guys, daring them to shoot. As far as the three-pointers go in general, they're sinking more in each game than you guys have in the first 2 games, which is a quirk. You're kind of beating them on the inside, especially the offensive glass. They're getting you guys on the outside. What do you think about maybe how those things have flip-flopped with traditionally what the teams were in the regular season?
Typical playoff action where you have time to prepare. You're willing to give up certain things. You're not willing to give up others. We've rebounded really well first 2 games of the series. Gotten to a lot of loose balls. We've done a lot of good things, and we have definitely some things that we have to clean up. So, and then you have to adapt, within the game and from one game to the next based on what's happening. So, I like where we are. We won 1 on the road. We had a real chance to win the other. Our guys are competing like crazy. They're playing together. This is the playoffs. This is when it gets hard, especially when you get down to the last 8 teams. Everybody's really good, and Memphis is really good. And so we're in a position now where it's 1-1, coming home for Game 3. We should be feeling pretty good to head out there in front of our home crowd.
Kavana mentioned that Wiggins has been doing a lot of the dirty work, and it's kind of rare for an all-star. What do you think about what he's been able to do this series?
Wiggs has been fantastic, crashing the glass, boxing out, chasing down loose balls, long rebounds, using his athleticism. Memphis is a really athletic team, so we need Wiggs to use his own athleticism to combat some of theirs, and he's doing just that. I think Wiggs has been fantastic.
How would you say you balance a game that has the potential to be chippy, like this one coming up, while still not letting it get out of control, while still being aggressive?
I think we have done that. So,
keep doing what you're doing?
Yeah, keep doing what we're doing, just play hard, battle for every loose ball, battle for every rebound, compete every possession, and, don't risk a guy's career if he's ahead of the play in transition. That's our mantra.
What can you say about how Gary's feeling right now?
He's bummed. He's got a huge brace on his arm, and he's going to be out for a long time, and he's crushed. You know, he's six years toiling away in the league, as I said the other night, in the spotlight, you know, playing in the playoffs, playing a huge role, playing well. That's all been taken away from him. So it's we all feel terrible for Gary. He deserves better.
How is Draymond's eye healing?
He's still pretty swollen. His eye's pretty swollen. He practiced fully today, but he hopefully the swelling goes down a little bit in the next couple of days.
Steve, this isn't a starter question, but you know you've done really well in the non-Steph minutes. A big part of that is because of Jordan Poole. How much do you just like philosophically, or from a comfort level, having a creator, ball handler, you know, initiator in that second group while Steph is sitting?
It's been huge. You know, we've struggled for years during the non-Steph minutes, and you know, Jordan has been probably the best guy, definitely the best guy we've had in terms of you know, being able to break down the defense from that point guard spot. You know, we've had a lot of, you know, super talented guys here, but specifically from the point guard spot to be able to break the defense down and be a shot creator and a shot maker. We haven't had anybody like Jordan, and so it's it makes those minutes a lot more comfortable for me as a coach.
Not asking you your strategy for Game 3, but you guys haven't doubled Ja very much, certainly on the catch, and you guys don't do that very much traditionally. Mm-hmm. Is that a philosophy of yours, of Ron's, or is it something you think maybe weakens the defense in ways that we don't always see?
No, it's definitely an option, you know, and as I said, as you go during a series, you have to be flexible. You've got to be willing to adjust, and so if we adjust, then that, you know, that's a possibility. It's up to us to really determine what that means. You know, how would we double? Where would we come from? What are we willing to give up? All that stuff. So it's all on the menu.
You know, obviously James isn't playing in this series, but how do you think he's handled his downtime, and what do you think he's gaining from this experience just being around the team during this playoff run? It's
good for him to feel the playoff atmosphere, the you know, the preparation that goes into it, for him to observe it, be part of it. It can only help him going forward when he's back on the floor in the same situation.
You touched on this a little bit earlier, but you know, one of your concerns going into this series was trying to keep them off the glass. You've done a really nice job of doing that. I mean, is it just game planning? Is it focus? Where are the things that you look at and say, here's why we've been able to do as well as we have on rebounding?
I think just attention to detail and our guys really understanding the importance of it. You know, it's a lot harder in the regular season to lock in and be so committed to something because you just have so many games. But in the playoffs, you know, you have the time to prepare. You have the awareness of what your opponent is good at and what you have to do to have a chance to win, and our guys are aware of all that.
And I know some of the coaches that you have been your mentors over the years have believed in taking away the best player. How difficult is that? It sounds simple, but how difficult is that really, to take away a team's opponent's best player?
Yeah, well, it's really difficult. You know, first round we had Jokic. I wouldn't say we took him away. That was a nightmare. And, you know, now we get Ja, you know, another one of the very best players in the league. Different position, different point of attack, different everything. So now you adapt to that. If you think you're going to take away Jokic or Morant, living in a dream world. So you're not taking those guys away. You're just trying to win the game, whatever it means, whether it's to limit them as best you can, to take away the easy stuff, as I talked about earlier. You got to figure out the best way to win the game, but you're not taking those guys away.
Right, a few on Zoom. Connor Letourneau, go ahead. Hey, Steve. Otto's only 28, but do you feel like he kind of carries himself like he's much older? And do you kind of get the vibe just being around him, like he's been through a lot in his career and grown from it?
Yeah, he's a veteran player and a super mature human being. Been through a lot injury-wise. Bounced around over the last couple of years to multiple teams. He signed for a max contract. He signed for a minimum contract. This is a guy who gets it. He understands the league. He understands his profession, and he's been an absolute joy to coach on and off the floor. I mean, he's one of our smartest players. You could see the other night the impact he made, even only making whatever it was, a shot or two. I think he was a plus 17 in his minutes because of his court awareness, his rebounding, screening. Otto is a hell of a player and wonderful person to have on the team too.
Clay probably wanted a better shooting night in the last game. What makes him so good at turning the page?
I think Clay doesn't dwell too much on a bad night, but all it takes is one. Same thing with Steph. If those guys see the ball go down one time, they immediately think they're hot, and it's a great quality to have. You have to have a short memory, as the cliche goes in this profession, and so Clay, I'm very confident he'll bounce back. He's had a great playoff run, and tough game too, but he'll be much better in game 3.
Scott Ostler, go ahead.
Hey, Steve, can a play like the foul on Payton change the emotional tenor of a series?
Not so much with the teams. By the time we play game 3, it's just, for us, it's like, all right, we've got to figure out what we're going to do without Gary, and for them, they're just trying to win the game too. So now with the fans, that'll be a different story, obviously. So there will be a different emotion in the building, for game 4 for sure. But you feel it more from the fans and the media than you do from, the players themselves.
All right, 2 more quick ones. Cyrus, go ahead.
Thanks, Coach. Thanks, Raymond. Nemanja Bjelica hasn't played since Game 4 of the first round. He was playing relatively well. I'm wondering why he fell out of favor, and can we expect to see him again?
He's Belly is in a position where he's just got to stay ready. He could easily find himself out there. It's the playoffs. Everything's based on matchups. He's in a position now where the way the league operates, it's tougher for guys in his position to stay on the floor across the league. So just kind of the way the game is being played. But we value Belly greatly. He's played really well for us early in the Denver series, and he could easily, as I said, find himself back out there.
All right, final one. Jason Dumas, go ahead.
Sorry, Steve, one quick one for you. Just looking at the TV, it looked like a really electric atmosphere down there in Memphis. How excited are you just kind of to see the fans here in San Francisco and the Bay Area match that on Saturday, and a day that could be a really special day in the Bay Area with Buster Posey being honored just a couple hours earlier down the street? How excited are you for just the atmosphere on Saturday night?
Yeah, it'll be great. Chase is going to be probably the loudest it's ever been, would be my guess. And this has really become a great home floor for us. We love playing here, and we're excited for the challenge and for the opportunity on Saturday.